Hi guys, it's Anne. Welcome back to another bullet journal video. Starting off, as you can see, I do have a new planner and I'm really excited about that. But I will talk more about that next week in that video where I'm doing my planner setup. And if you have any questions about me moving from my Leuchtturm into a planner, let me know in the comments down below and I will do my very best to answer all of your questions. I am also really excited because I changed up the dot grid size. So before this month I've been using a 5mm dot grid, and now I am using a 3.5mm dot grid. You know, it's like 1.5 millimeters difference, but I am way too excited about this. It's made a huge difference and I've been able to change up all my layouts, and I just feel like I am getting the most out of my bullet journal now, and it's amazing how that small of a change can make that big of a difference. As you can see by now also, I am doing a kind of moon and stars theme this month, and I decided to go with this really just clean gold color, partly because I love gold and partly because it goes really well with this new planner. For the calendar grid, I started out with a ruler because I thought it would look neat, but honestly it just takes way too much time for me to sit there with a ruler doing this, so I just scrapped this after this one spread. I really do appreciate freehanding lines, and I find that if you kind of just lock your wrist and you only move your elbow in one sweeping motion, you're gonna get a really, it's gonna be a little wobbly obviously because you're not using a ruler, but it's gonna be straight enough. I also like that it looks a little bit more organic and handmade when it's not perfectly straight. So yeah, no, I'm gonna scrap the ruler from now on. If you don't know this already, May, at least for me, is the month of Star Wars, because May the 4th is the official Star Wars day, because May the 4th be with you. So I felt like I had to do something kind of space related or star related, but I didn't want to go over the top and just do pure fan art. So I think this theme is a really nice way to represent that in a kind of toned back kind of style. Oh my, I was struggling with this golden paint. I'm not really used to using these kinds of paints, and the first lesson I learned was that when working with metallic paints, make sure you just put some water in your tray and let it soak for a bit, because when you first start out it's not gonna be very opaque. And I also figured that if you do really like long brush strokes, it's also not gonna be very opaque, so you'll see me kind of dabbing the color on, if that makes any sense, just to kind of get the build up and make it as opaque as I possibly can. I really adore the way this turned out, but holy shit, it was a struggle. I also realized that it takes a while for this to dry. Once it's dry, you're fine. It's not gonna smudge or it's not gonna leave shimmer all over the place, which I was a little bit concerned about, but it takes a while to dry, and considering I am writing on both pages, this video took about 2 days to film, because I had to wait for one spread to properly dry before I could continue with the next one. And you'll also see on the cover page I showed you when I kind of just outline everything again once I put the colors on, because as I said, it is very opaque, so it will cover up your line art. So what I did after I put the paint on, I just roughly outlined everything again so that you can see that clean, crisp kind of black edge on it, everything. And as much as I love when it's just clean and simple and not too much happening, you know, sometimes less is more. I did go a little bit crazy with my Tombow. So I'm using this light gray shade. I will link it in the description box, and I literally just highlighted every other row so it's easier for me to see what row I'm on, and I think it also gives a really nice and neat look to it. So my very favorite part about the smaller dot grid that I now have is that I can fit a full month horizontally. So my monthly trackers, my habit trackers, and so on can be, for one, you have a ton more space, and secondly, you can just fit it, as I said, horizontally instead of vertically. And you don't have to go ahead and flip the page over and stuff like that, and I just think that it's oh so satisfying. I also decided to add in a social media plan where I have my YouTube videos for the month as well as my Instagram, because that's something that I feel like I've been kind of neglecting lately. It's posting on Instagram, and I really want to be consistent with it and post at least 5 days a week. So I decided to do a plan where I can kind of like, okay, so this day is going to be this photo, and then I also decided to put in an actual, so I can fill in if I actually posted on that day or not, and maybe I posted something that I wasn't planning on posting. So I have the planned and I have the actual posts. On this next spread, I have my sleeping log or sleep tracker that I used to call it. I wanted to change something up, so I did. Again, since I do have more space now, I decided to flip this one over and have it on one page instead of a full 2-page spread. We'll see if I enjoy this or not, and for now I really love the look of it. I keep tweaking this page because I feel like some information might be useful and then some information may not, and I tend to not fill stuff in properly. So I keep tweaking this, and I will keep you updated when I feel like I have my finalized product done. I also decided to add in a food log because I am really bad at eating breakfast and lunch. I usually eat something really unhealthy, or I don't eat at all, and then I just have one really huge meal at the end of the day, and it's not good for you. So I added in this spread again. I think I had this in my December setup the last time, and I'm like, I don't need this, but the truth is I really do. So hopefully this will help me improve my eating habits and just help me to a healthier lifestyle in general. Fingers crossed. Up next is my a few lines a day spread, and I wanted to keep this really simple and also have it open so that I can write as many or as few lines per day that I feel like I want to and need to and have time to. But I really do enjoy the daily journaling kind of aspect of it. I think that just keeping it simple and open is gonna fit my needs better, so I am going with this and just making this cute kind of frame around the full spread, and I love how this turned out. I'm so in love with this gold paint. Next up this is probably my favorite out of all of them. Again, I am way too excited about the dot grid changes. It's the smallest change that made the biggest difference for me, and I'm just over the moon, pun intended, you know, because of the theme. So what I did was, in my expense tracker, I added in a row for the budgeted amount in that category, as well as the total amount that I always have on the bottom. But beside that, I also have space for the bills I have to pay this month, and I also added in some mini trackers for how often I buy groceries, and also a no spend tracker. And I mean, I could put these on my habit trackers, I guess, but I really enjoy having them on the same kind of economy spread that I have going on here already. On the budget envelope side, I also made some changes because I have so much space over now. It's amazing. So as always, I have my envelopes. If you want more information as of how to use this, I have a video on economy and finance ideas for your bullet journal, and I will link that in the description box down below. And in that video, I actually walk you through step by step exactly how I use all of the economy spreads in my bullet journal. So the changes that I've made now is I have a little section for notes, I have a budget review, and I also have a summary of how I feel like I did this month, as well as I have a little bit of room to kind of take notes on each of the envelopes as well, so it's not just tracking. And we'll see exactly what I write here, if I write down like what store I bought stuff in, or if I just add up all the total numbers, or I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this, or what direction I'm gonna go with this little extra space yet, but I am so excited to find out. Up next we have a weekly spread, and I know that I usually make a totally separate video for my weekly setups, but this month I have some other goodies planned for you, so I figured I'd just share the first weekly of the month so you can see kind of ish what it's gonna look like. So I decided to keep it really clean and simple, and I just made these kind of golden header things for each and every single one of the days, as well as a at a glance section, a task list, weekly goals, and this little section for thoughts and notes. And of course I had to incorporate some Star Wars in here because Friday is May the 4th, so I put May the 4th be with you. And at the very bottom of the page I had some extra space over, so I put one of my favorite quotes from the movie, and it's "Do or do not, there is no try." Oh Yoda, you're so wise. And that is actually it for my May setup, guys. Here is a final flip through of all the spreads. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click that like button, and if you haven't done so, please do subscribe. It makes my day every time. Thank you for watching. Bye!